Someone's legacy was hurt with that first round exit, but it was not LeBron James. Oh, that doesn't stop the LeBron haters from coming out though. LeBron, you'll never be the GOAT. LeBron is a clown. MJ the GOAT. Woo boy. I will explain whose legacy this hurts, but I feel bad for the Phoenix Suns. They were so good, but that is not what everyone's talking about this morning. Good news for them, there's plenty of time to cheer if they beat the Nuggets in round 2, but today is about LeBron losing. This video explains why it's actually good for LeBron's legacy, who this actually hurts on the Lakers, and at the end, what changes should be made this offseason. Yo, it's Casey. Hit subscribe. Dennis Rodman hair update. I am going to dye my hair like Dennis Rodman because I bet you guys that the Hawks would lose in round 1, but Trae Young pulled it off. That video coming soon. The only thing we have to decide is which Dennis Rodman hair dye, hair scheme, whatever, will I choose? Colorway. So the people who get to vote on this are in the AM Hoops email club. If you want to vote on the Dennis Rodman hair, link is in the description. Also, big shout out to David Para. I know you've had quite the week, buddy. I appreciate you. Now, before we get to why this loss is good for LeBron's legacy and who it hurts, he is still the GOAT. Last year, I declared LeBron the GOAT for these 4 reasons. 1, ring count isn't everything. If it was, Bill Russell would be the GOAT. 2, Michael Jordan has the benefit of nostalgia bias. People worship him like they do an old memory, and his shoe company creates loyalty. 3, LeBron's game made his teammates better. MJ pushed people off the court, but not as much on it. And number 4, LeBron's competition was tougher. He had to face 4 Hall of Famers on the Warriors. And losing in the first round does not end this argument. I mean, this is a perfect example of nostalgia bias from people who only watched MJ on The Last Dance. Actually, Jordan lost in the first round 3 times. Kobe lost twice. LeBron is now 14-1 in the first round, and this season will not be held against him. Any team dealing with injuries to their 2 best players, like LeBron and AD, will lose eventually. And don't even comment that the Suns were also dealing with injuries, like with CP3's arm. The fact is, the Lakers had huge injuries for long stretches during the season. That is why they're the 7th seed to begin with. They are so top heavy. With AD out, LeBron's next best teammate was Dennis Schroeder. He has always been disappointing in the playoffs. He scored 0 points in Game 5. That is unforgivable. The Lakers' defense was good all year, even with LeBron and AD out, but when they're not hitting threes, it's a wrap. The Lakers were next to last in three-point shooting in the playoffs at 30%. Rob Pelinka in the Lakers front office is who actually looks horrible today. We knew the three-point shooting was an issue, and getting Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder in the offseason was their big move. Both of those guys have a history of disappointing in the postseason. LeBron had to carry a subpar team yet again, and he was not himself with that ankle. I expected LeBron to take over in Game 6 like he has in the past. I mean, the last time LeBron was down in round 1 was 2018. Then he dropped 32, 44, and 45 points all in a row. Last night, just 29 points. People are also upset with Frank Vogel starting Marc Gasol and sitting Andre Drummond. Did they watch the games? I mean, Drummond had some stats, but he didn't actually impact winning. If anything, Vogel heard the whispers that the front office wants to keep Drummond long term, and he was sending a message. We have to do better than that. What Vogel should have done is just play no center at all. Forget Marc Gasol. I mean, when LeBron was in, he just needed to play the center and have 4 shooters around him. When Anthony Davis was healthy for like 5 minutes, he should have played center. It's obviously their best lineup. There's no time to mess around with anything else. But it was obvious, playing big was bad. Major changes will be made, and that is why this is actually good for LeBron's legacy. it puts a ton of pressure on the Lakers front office to change everything, head coach included, if necessary. They'll have to be aggressive this offseason. I slammed the Lakers front office for not pulling the trigger on the Kyle Lowry trade at the deadline. They dangled Dennis Schroeder and KCP for Lowry, but refused to put Talen Horton-Tucker in the deal. He played 13 minutes against Phoenix. Yeah, THT will be good for the future, but LeBron's championship window is right now. Who cares about 5, 6, 7 years from now? If Lowry was on the team, they would have avoided the play-in, which would have kept AD healthier. Lowry would have been amazing against CP3 and the Suns. It would have given them a legit third best player. Let's break down some of their options this offseason, but remember, even if they hit home runs, it guarantees nothing. If there's one thing we've learned, it's not to judge an offseason immediately. So many people said the Lakers would repeat after they landed Marc Gasol, Dennis Schroeder, and Montrezl Harrell. Actually, none of those guys panned out. Their issues like last year three-point shooting continued. Andre Drummond didn't even play the last game. Now it's the last big offseason in LeBron's career, and Rob Pelinka cannot blow back-to-back off seasons. This roster only has 5 guys guaranteed to be under contract. That's LeBron, AD, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and Marc Gasol. We'll talk about the details of all that in the Lakers offseason Wednesday next week, but the bottom line is a sign and trade. That is the only way the Lakers can get a real difference maker. They've got 0 cap space. They can't just let Dennis Schroeder and Andre Drummond walk. If they do that, they're still over the cap with no one to replace them. Since 2019, we have seen teams with no money get players like Kevin Durant, D'Angelo Russell, and Christian Wood on a sign and trade. The Lakers could do a sign and trade for Chris Paul. That would look like CP3 signing a new deal for like 3 years, $92 million, then trading to LA for KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and Cat Filler. Paul would do this only if he doesn't win a ring with the Suns. Next up could be DeMar DeRozan on a sign and trade for KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and a first-round pick. DeRozan was an All-NBA snub for me. Other sign and trade options include Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, Lonzo Ball, Norman Powell, or Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry. Although I think that's unrealistic. Sign and trades trigger the hard cap, so the Lakers would have a tough time keeping key free agents. But again, all those details in the Lakers offseason video this Wednesday. Look, I know these moves sound crazy, but we will have a crazy offseason after LeBron lost in the first round for the first time. Dude wasn't healthy enough to put pressure on the Suns in Game 6, but he will light a huge fire under the front office. This is a video from last year when I called LeBron the GOAT. I give all the details. Leave a comment below if you agree or disagree.